The tragic reality of Hong Kong's housing crisis. Hong Kong is home to the world's most expensive real estate market. Its transport systems, telecommunications, and most critically, its property sector are all dominated by a powerful elite. What you're seeing here isn't a prison cell, it's someone's home. Just 2 square meters in size, equivalent to a phone booth, this is one of Hong Kong's notorious coffin homes. With one shared bathroom for 20 people, this is not an isolated case. Over 200,000 residents live like this, trapped in a city that has run out of space. The average home in Hong Kong now costs 18 times the median household income, making it the most severe housing crisis on the planet. But behind this grim statistic lies an even darker truth. The top 10% of households earn 82 times more than the bottom 10%, a gap that has more than doubled in just 5 years. At the heart of this inequality are 4 ultra-wealthy families whose conglomerates, worth over $100 billion, control over half of Hong Kong's private housing and land reserves. Their influence spans media, politics, and policy. This is Kai, a 60-year-old cleaner living in the Mong Kok district. For $300 a month, he rents a 20-square-foot space infested with bed bugs. Yet, this is better than being on the streets. With no public housing available for single applicants, he faces a waiting list that can stretch beyond a decade. Hong Kong's housing nightmare wasn't born overnight. To understand how one of Asia's richest cities became a dystopia of cages, we must look to its colonial roots. In 1841, Britain seized Hong Kong and declared all land government-owned, a rule that still shapes real estate prices in 2025. After World War II, the city's location and business-friendly policies attracted migrants and investors. Hong Kong rapidly industrialized, becoming one of Asia's 4 tigers. But by the 1980s, as manufacturing shifted to mainland China, Hong Kong turned to finance. By the 1990s, over 10,000 multinational firms were setting up shop each year. But as Britain's handover to China in 1997 loomed, fears rose. Capital flight followed. The Hang Seng Index dropped over 20%, and Asia soon plunged into a financial crisis. At the same time, Hong Kong's population soared, but land remained finite. Housing became both scarce and unaffordable. Tiny cage homes, originally a short-term fix for migrants, became a permanent solution for over 200,000 residents. After the handover, many hoped China would reform the broken colonial housing system. Instead, they preserved and perfected it. In the early 2000s, desperate for revenue, the Hong Kong government slashed taxes and relied heavily on land sales, generating over $20 billion annually, enough to fund the public healthcare system. But ordinary citizens couldn't afford to buy land. A handful of powerful families seized the opportunity, tightening their grip on real estate. 4 names rose above the rest: the Kwaks, the Lis, and the Chengs. Their real estate empires grew in lockstep with political influence. In theory, Hong Kong operates on free market principles. In practice, it's a monopoly. These tycoons control property supply, hoard undeveloped land, and inflate prices. With near-zero competition, they began building nano-flats as small as 120 square feet to maximize profits. Today, over 220,000 people live in such spaces, and the government has done little to stop it. Despite soaring inequality, the government has resisted rent control, failed to outlaw coffin homes, and offered no meaningful resettlement programs. In 2024, Chief Executive John Lee announced reforms, but coffin homes were explicitly excluded. Meanwhile, cities like Singapore offer a stark contrast. With similar population density, Singapore chose to build public housing for over 80% of residents, cutting out the room for monopolization. South Korea too imposed heavy taxes on multi-property owners to discourage speculation. Hong Kong? It did nothing. As a result, the gap between rich and poor has exploded. The richest 10% now earn 82 times more than the poorest, a level of inequality surpassing even Russia or South Africa. In Hong Kong, just 80 individuals hold 11% of the city's total wealth. The working class, meanwhile, fights simply to survive. This isn't just a housing crisis, it's a collapse of social mobility. A graduate today would need to save every cent for 20 years just to buy a tiny flat. Many professionals in their 30s still live with their parents or share micro-apartments. Over 80% of young people believe they'll never own a home. Between 2020 and 2022, 140,000 mostly young, educated residents left the city in search of a better future. Hong Kong's crisis is a warning to the world. From London to New York, unchecked real estate speculation and inequality are spreading. If left unchallenged, housing will cease to be a basic human need and become merely a tool for wealth extraction. What started as a colonial land grab has evolved into a 21st century monopoly. The faces have changed, but the system remains. Extract as much as possible from the many to benefit the few. Inequality in Hong Kong wasn't accidental, it was engineered. Billionaires own empires while the working class is boxed into cages. This is not just Hong Kong's reality, it could soon be ours. The clock is ticking. The question is, will we do anything about it?